Greetings, this is Gilles Mancier. I wanted to come and say hello, to pull out a few cards, for we are passing through a very important portal today. It's right before the equinox. There's this golden portals that is here is going to help us, to assist us, to balance, to harmonize, to bring our life into harmony, to bring more temperance into our life. And the card for today is the Emperor, the Emperatrice, it is the great, here it is the Archangel Gabriel, the Archangel of Ascension. It says that now is the time to concretize your project. Your creativity will see it rewarded, abundance and wealth. So it is all about accepting the universal aspect of life. For also these cards just tell us not to get lost in any detail, to know that everything comes in circle and come back to us. What we see, it's the Doreen Virtue Archangel deck. What we see on the invisible, that's not yet, we don't see it yet, but it is there, and the invisible that will come into the picture is the revelation. It is the revelation. Here it is the Archangel Raziel. It says, joy through the spiritual fulfillment, to enlighten the path of someone else, finding the answer that you are looking for through meditation. It is the card of the Hermit, so it is about seeking the light and finding it. What we see on the visible world is something quite marvelous. It is the Nine of Raphael. Here it's a genie. Well, Raphael is telling us, make a wish. Your dreams are becoming reality, a happy time in your life. So focus on that, know that this is really what's ahead for you, for us. And what we're working on right now is the Four of Raphael, the Four Ariel, sorry. The Four of Ariel is saying giving is also receiving, to resist change, to know how to spend and save your money. So it is a card of organization, discipline, but we do not want to so much resist the change. And the outcome to this process will be the Page of Michael. Here it's a young child. It says honest, perspicacious, critical, brusque. So we want to be kind, and the idea also is that when we want to move out of a situation, it's like we want to break the walls, but if we stay inside the house and when we break the wall, the roof will fall on our head. So if we break a wall, we want to move forward so that we leave behind the situation. It says a new challenge is waiting for you. You have everything to succeed. Study with great care all document or contract. So of course that is common sense. You never, even when Mercury is not retrograde, you still have to look at all contract and agreement with care. For Mercury is retrograde right now, it's a time to rewind, to review, to retweak, to change little details, to oversee all kinds of little. It is a good time to rest and relaxation, to integrate all those new energies. A very important aspect that we need to do is to make peace with the unwanted. For we live on a planet that's dualistic and it's been through a lot of suffering, and so there is unfortunately violence, war, conspiracy, manipulation, draconian laws. Everything is part of that process. So we have to make peace within ourselves with all those tyrannical or distorted effect. In order, once we make peace, and the more people make peace within ourselves, we'll be able to transmute those things. No, the universe is about to liberate that planet. The God Source, or the company of heaven, is working towards that. It is a slow process. Everything needs to be deactivated and come into the picture of the collective human consciousness when it is the time. But so do not be attached to those dramas and conflicts, for there will be more and more and more, and they will continue for, honestly, for 200 years. There's going to be, we're going to be transmuting those energy for another couple of centuries. So we want to liberate ourselves right now and to see the little progress that are being made. For there is the ability to find true joy and happiness and fulfillment within every moment of now, as we let go and detach from all those old programmings of duality. To surround the trust and flow is very important. For there is as we surround the trust and flow through our faith, to know that we're always led to a higher, better place. There is three powers. I wanted to talk about the three powers that a God has, that we also have, which is the power to assist good, to transmute evil, and to use discrimination. Those powers are expressed in God through love, wisdom, and power. Infinite love that is within God knows all things, infinite wisdom that is within God knows all the means by which to achieve anything. And the infinite power that God exerces is the divine power of love and wisdom combined. So we have those things, for we are, in essence, I spoke about DNA. DNA is like, it is like a spiral, a ladder, so to speak. And so, but it's physical DNA. As we awaken our DNA, we open some new codes within our DNA. Our brain become reconnected, and we begin to develop some inner senses. And but in a sense, there is a spiritual part to the DNA. In order to discover that spiritual part for the DNA, we have to turn in and visualize, understand that we are the true essence of the soul is a flame, is a fire. So it is like a spark of light. As we breathe, this spark of light becomes a flame. As it becomes more and more, we can turn it into a great sun inside our heart, and then eventually a central sun. So all those powers, the power of the soul, eventually we'll learn that we are more comfortable to live within the love and light of our soul than within the physical plane. So we'll abandon completely the physical world. But for now, we are needing to balance it out, to grow, to cultivate this inner power of love and light within ourselves, and also to understand that when we feel uncomfortable, when we feel uncomfortable, is because we are receiving the sign that it is a sign that we need to redirect our energy towards something that is wanted. Our emotions are like a GPS kind of thing. It tells you if you're really happy, you're going in the right direction. If you're not happy, it's not about finding a way to avoid the unhappiness. It's about understanding that as we acknowledge the unhappiness or the lack of feeling, the lack of completeness, then we can redirect our energy towards that. So it is important to have faith and trust in yourself. I'm going to briefly comment on that painting behind me. It is a painting that's called Ascension. It represents the ascension, the celestial sphere of the super universe, the universe and super universe. It's a painting from 1996, I believe. And I almost sold it in Colorado when I was living in Denver, but I still have it. And so this planet represents here is the representation of the 619 dots in this part here. Represent the 619 planets that are belonging to the first heaven. The first heaven, in essence, the seven heavens are essentially the seven-mentioned world of the first sphere, of the first satellites of Jerusalem, the great central sphere of our local system. As we ascend through the spiritual school, of the light school of the system, we move into the constellation, the realm of the constellation, the realm of the Most High. We move to Edantia, and then it's governing the 100 system. As we graduate from that sphere, we move into Salvington. Salvington is the center of our local universe. It is the place where the Mother Spirit resides, and there is 100 constellations. So as we graduate from there, we move beyond the sphere of light into young spirit sphere. We become young spirit, and so we move into Ensa, the central sphere of Ensa, and the central sphere of Splendon in the major sector in Sagittarius. And then eventually we reach that sphere that's called Uversa. Uversa is a celestial planet. Those are architectural planets. They are invisible to the physical world, but they are planets that are made to order by the celestial beings, are administrating the cosmos from those planes. And Uversa is a plane that's inside the galactic center. I've never really been invited to visit that, so I can't really comment on that. But I remember I was in Creston, Colorado. I was sitting for a friend, and I projected my consciousness to that center. I wanted to check it out, to investigate this. And so I thought I turned my attention to the great rulers of those systems, the Ancient of Days, for there are only 21 Ancient of Days, for there are 7 super universe, and they rule by 3. And so those beings are the super administrator of the super universe. They are balancing the 100,000 universe of their super universe. And so I contacted with the Ancient of Days, and my answer was reply, and I was sent back into my body with a vision of the Christ on the cross. And I said, well, if you have questions, you should go to him first, don't come to us. So I thought it was quite an interesting experience. in any event, I've been doing a lot of those paintings that are cosmological, that are addressing the celestial, invisible planet. It's not easy to accept that there is an invisible universe of divine light that is superseding and embracing all things, but eventually we'll come to realize that everything was created for us, for we are part of that incredible, magnificent creation, and as we reintegrate our power of creator, we are able to experience a lot more joy and freedom. For joy and freedom are essentially the rewards. It's not the only rewards, but it's a great aspect of the transformative consciousness that we are moving through towards the end of that tunnel. And so we'll finish with just a few notes. It says, joy across the world, all the boys and girls, joy to the fishes and the deep blue sea, joy to you and me. Well, I wish you much joy, much oneness, much appreciation of those peaceful time of transition into the equinox, and we'll be moving towards the great enlightenment of the Lion's Gate on the 8/8. So all those energies are now for anchoring, for finding this peace of mind, for enjoying as much as possible each and every day, and to find a sense of life, a sense of develop new creativity, following your inspiration, follow your heart, for your heart has within the heart there is incredible knowledge and treasures to be discovered, yet we have not yet accessed that, but it is coming, and so allow yourself to feel life and not so much having to analyze all things, move into the feeling state, and as the feeling gets better, just let yourself flow with it. It's one of the advice. Well, thank you very much. If you have any comment, do not hesitate. I always enjoy to see them. Namaste.